You can be smiling in every photo, cracking jokes at work, remembering everyone's birthday, and still be quietly falling apart inside. That's what depression after 40 can look like. Not crying all day, not staying in bed for weeks, just existing, moving through life like it's a checklist instead of a heartbeat. People think depression always looks dramatic, but sometimes it's just a slow fading of your spark. When you can't remember the last time you felt excited about anything. You get up, go to work, handle your business, and no one would ever guess how heavy it feels to simply function. What's up to my favorite bunch of beauties? Welcome back to Beauty Over Age, where we talk about power, peace, and purpose after 40. I'm Denise, and today we're getting honest about something that affects far too many women in this season of life. That quiet, invisible kind of depression that doesn't look like what people expect. If you've ever felt like you're smiling, showing up, doing what you're supposed to do, but deep down you feel detached, tired, or just off, this conversation is for you. You're not crazy and you're not ungrateful. You're just human, living through a time when your body, your hormones, your identity, and your sense of purpose are all shifting at once. And sometimes that quiet weight we carry starts to look like depression. But nobody calls it that because we don't look depressed. Before we dive into today's topic, I want to take a second to tell you about something that brought me a little spark this week. Okay, listen, I'm about to put you on to something, and you might not forgive me when you start getting stopped in the hallway at work. I found a fragrance brand that smells like money, confidence, and peace of mind without the luxury price tag. So, here's a secret. The brand is called The Clone, and they are redefining what luxury means. These are extrait de parfums, long-lasting, vegan, cruelty-free, clean formulations, and prices that start at $35. Now, let me tell you about the ones they sent me, because they did not come to play. They sent me Lost in Symphony, which is inspired by Louis Vuitton Symphony. Smells like I meditate before I make money moves. Bright, confident, and classy. Naked Cherry, which is inspired by Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. It's flirty, warm, and a little bit dangerous. It's that I'm healed, but I'm still fine type of scent. And Brave in Love, inspired by Love Don't Be Shy. It's soft, sweet, romantic. It's giving candlelight self-care and compliments. And yes, they last. Like you still smell good after your 3 p.m. snack. Now, here's the inside scoop. You can use my code BEAUTYOVERAGE to save even more at cloneofperfume.com. I don't gatekeep good energy or good fragrance. So go ahead and grab you one that walks in before you do. Because smelling good is self-care, and baby, I refuse to edit my light or my fragrance. All right, now let's talk about something that doesn't always smell like roses. Because depression after 40 doesn't always look like what people expect. When you're over 40, you've mastered the art of the mask. You've learned to show up, even when you're falling apart. Maybe you've got a job that demands everything, you have a family that needs you constantly, or people around who think she's so strong, she never breaks. And part of you starts believing that too. You keep performing strength like it's second nature, because who's going to hold it together if you don't? But that's how quiet depression hides. It doesn't come with big breakdowns. It comes with shrinking joy, with days that blur together, with laughing but not really feeling it, with being surrounded by people and still feeling unseen. Sometimes it's waking up and feeling like the world lost its color, but you still get dressed, still show up, because that's what grown women do. Here's what no one tells you. Depression after 40 often sneaks in quietly, and it can hide behind symptoms that look normal. You're tired all the time. You forget what you were about to say mid-sentence. You don't laugh from your belly anymore. It's more of a polite chuckle. Maybe you scroll for hours but can't focus on anything. You cancel plans, not because you don't love people, but because you just don't have the energy to be around anyone. You're functioning but not feeling. And if you're in perimenopause or postmenopause, those hormonal shifts can make it even trickier to tell what's going on. Low estrogen can affect your serotonin, which means your mood, your sleep, your motivation, even your ability to concentrate can all take a hit. So you start wondering, is this depression or just hormones? And before long, you stop asking altogether because life doesn't slow down long enough for you to even check in with yourself. Ask a woman over 40 how she's doing, and she'll probably say, I'm fine. But fine can mean a lot of things. It can mean I don't want to burden anybody. It can mean if I stop moving, I might fall apart. Or it can mean I'm so disconnected from myself, I don't even know what I feel anymore. We've been conditioned to prioritize everyone else's comfort. So even when we're drowning quietly, we try to make it look graceful. But grace isn't pretending. Grace is telling the truth about where you are and allowing yourself to be seen. If any of this feels familiar, take a breath right here. You're not weak for feeling this way. You've just been strong for too long without rest, without release, without being poured into. Coming up next, we're going to talk about how depression over 40 can weave itself into your daily routine without you realizing it, and how to start recognizing the difference between survival mode and true peace. Because you deserve more than functioning. You deserve to feel alive again. So, let's talk about what it really looks like day to day. Depression after 40 often blends right into your normal routine. It's not always tears, it's tiny withdrawals from life. 1,000 little ways your light dims without anyone noticing. You wake up, and before your feet hit the floor, your mind's already racing through what needs to get done. You're tired before the day even begins. You stand in the shower, letting the water hit your back, and instead of feeling refreshed, you're just existing. You might even whisper, I can't keep doing this. But you still get dressed because that's what grown women do. At work, you're the dependable one. People lean on you. They know you'll figure it out. But inside, it feels like you're moving through fog. You forget little things, not because you're careless, but because your brain is just tired. You've been running on emotional autopilot for so long that you don't realize your body's screaming for rest. Sometimes it's not even sadness, it's numbness. That's the part nobody talks about. You stop reacting, you stop dreaming, you just keep moving from one task to the next, hoping one day something will click and bring you back to yourself. When you're over 40, life tells you you're supposed to have it together. You've built a career, you've raised kids, you survived heartbreaks, disappointments, maybe even loss. So when the sadness or emptiness hits, you start telling yourself, I shouldn't feel like this. I have a good life. That's emotional disconnection. It's when your feelings stop matching your circumstances. You can love your partner and still feel lonely. You can be grateful for your job and still feel trapped. You can have everything you prayed for and still feel hollow. And that gap between how life looks and how it feels, that's where quiet depression hides. It means something inside you has been whispering for attention. and you've been too busy to hear it. Something else happens around this age. Our sense of worth starts changing. When we're younger, our worth is often tied to doing. We're praised for multitasking, achieving, giving. But when the body starts slowing down, when energy isn't the same, when people stop needing you as much, you can start wondering, who am I if I'm not constantly giving? And that's where the quiet depression deepens. In that silent question that nobody answers. You start measuring your value by productivity instead of peace. You start believing rest is laziness. You start thinking your best years are behind you. But hear me clearly. Your value doesn't expire with age. Your beauty doesn't fade because your joy dimmed. You are still here, which means your purpose is still unfolding. But you can't reconnect with that purpose if you keep ignoring your pain. Let's be honest, women over 40 are experts at coping. We cope by staying busy, by helping others, by pretending everything is fine. Maybe it's wine every evening just to take the edge off. Maybe it's shopping, that quick dopamine hit when a package arrives. Maybe it's overworking because slowing down feels dangerous. None of those things make you bad or weak. They're just survival tools that stop working after a while. The problem is, they don't heal the wound, they just numb it. And when the numbness wears off, the emptiness feels bigger. So you start chasing new distractions, another project, another show to binge, another scroll through your phone, until you realize you've been filling time, not living it. And if no one's told you this, you deserve peace that doesn't come from escape. You deserve joy that isn't performative. We were never meant to carry this much alone. Depression thrives in isolation. And for women in midlife, loneliness can become quite an epidemic. Kids grow up, friendships drift, you stop being invited out as much. Everyone assumes you're fine because you make it look fine. But deep down, you crave to be seen, not as the strong one, not as the helper, just as a woman who feels. That's why conversations like this matter, because visibility is healing. When we name it, it loses power. So if you've been smiling through pain, showing up while silently struggling, you're not invisible here. I see you. Take a moment right now to unclench your jaw, drop your shoulders, and exhale. That tension you carry every day is not weakness, it's unspoken pain asking for room to breathe. In the next part, we are going to talk about what healing can start to look like. Not perfection, not pretending everything's okay, but small ways to reconnect with yourself emotionally, spiritually, and physically. When life after 40 feels heavy, quiet, and misunderstood. Because depression doesn't mean you've lost yourself. It just means it's time to come back home to you. You don't have to wait until things fall apart to begin healing. You don't have to hit rock bottom to deserve peace. Sometimes healing starts in the smallest of moments, the ones that feel too quiet to matter, but they do. It's the moment you finally admit, I'm not okay, and that's okay. It's when you choose to slow down, not because life got easier, because you finally decided your soul deserves rest. One of the hardest parts about quiet depression is realizing how long you've been ignoring yourself. You've been listening to everyone else's needs for years, your kids, your partner, your job, your family. But when's the last time you truly asked yourself, what do I need today? That one question can start to change everything. Because depression after 40 isn't about sadness, it's about disconnection. And the only way to heal disconnection is through attention. You start by paying attention to the tiny things, how your body feels when you wake up, what your spirit needs before you reach your phone, what you're craving, not food or caffeine, but emotionally. Sometimes it's peace, sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's simply being left alone without guilt. I want to talk about something that doesn't get said enough. Rest is not laziness. For women over 40, rest is resistance. We spent decades in survival mode, taking care of everyone else, proving ourselves at work, wearing strong like armor. But strength without softness becomes suffering. So if you've been exhausted, not just tired, but tired to the bone, that's not a sign of weakness. It's your body begging you to stop carrying more than it was built to hold. Rest doesn't mean doing nothing. It means creating a space for healing to catch up to you. Healing can't find you if you never stop moving. Even 10 minutes of stillness is medicine. Sit by the window, drink something warm, breathe in the moment. Let the world spin without you for a little while. It'll survive. One of the most powerful ways to come back from quiet depression is by relearning joy. Not the big kind that comes from milestones or praise, but the everyday kind that reminds you you're still here. Joy after 40 looks different. It's not about chasing what you lost, it's about noticing what's left. It's the sun on your face, it's laughing at something silly, it's rediscovering an old hobby. It's music that makes you move again. You don't have to feel ready for joy to invite it back. Just give it a crack in the door. Start with one small thing a day that feels nourishing. Light a candle, write a paragraph, take a walk without your phone. Call a friend who listens without trying to fix you. The more you practice noticing joy, the more your nervous system starts to remember, I am safe here. I can soften here. We heal in community, not in isolation. And I think that's something many women in midlife are rediscovering. After years of holding everyone else together, it's okay to say, I need someone to hold me for a change. Find your people, the ones who get it, not the ones who say, just pray about it or you'll be fine. The ones who can sit beside you in silence and remind you you're not invisible. That's why I believe in spaces like this channel. Because even through a screen, connection is medicine. When you comment, when you share, when you say me too, it creates a ripple of healing that reminds us we are not meant to suffer in silence. Healing doesn't mean everything's perfect. It just means you've decided to stop abandoning yourself. At some point, you'll look in the mirror and realize you made it through another day and you didn't think you could. That's not small, that's sacred. You'll notice your smile feels real again, not because life got easier, but because you finally came home to yourself. And that's the quiet power of healing after 40. You start seeing beauty in your own resilience. You start honoring the version of you who kept going even when she didn't feel seen. If today's conversation spoke to you, I want you to take this gentle reminder with you. You are still growing, even here, even in the heaviness, even when you feel like you've lost your spark. Depression doesn't define you, it's just a season asking for softness. You can rebuild your peace, piece by piece, and every small act of compassion counts. So tonight before you go to sleep, ask yourself one question. What would it look like to be gentle with myself tomorrow? If this conversation helped you breathe a little easier today, or reminded you that what you're feeling is valid, Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. And if you know another woman over 40 who's been smiling through the struggle, share this video with her. You never know how much it could mean to someone who needs to hear it. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. How does quiet depression show up for you? Or what's one way you've been learning to reconnect with yourself? Let's make this a space where women can see their own stories reflected back. And hey, if these videos are helping you feel seen or supported and you want to show a little love, you can buy me a coffee. Just scan the QR code on the screen. It helps me keep creating honest, heart-centered content for women like us who are owning this season of life. Until next time, stay powerful, stay peaceful, and I'll see you in the next video.